If you're breastfeeding or planning to, this video is for you. Hey friends, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Marielle and I'm so glad you're here. These are my top breastfeeding and pumping essentials that have made my life so much easier. Things that I actually used every day, not just things that are on the registry list. I'm going to be covering feeding and pumping, comfort and care, organization and travel, plus some tips and takeaways that I learned along the way. Let's dive into it, shall we? The first essential that I'm going to mention are nursing bras. And I don't mean just nursing bras, because there are nursing bras that are just for nursing, the ones that you have to unclasp and go like this. And those are really great, but I found that they have bras that do nursing and pumping. So the nursing bras that I found are actually really good for both pumping and nursing, which is exactly what I needed. When I had my first, I had either a nursing bra or a pumping bra, and that was really inconvenient because I had to make do with what was there, and a pumping bra is great for pumping, but it wasn't really meant to be used for nursing, and vice versa. The nursing bra wasn't really made to use for pumping. And so it was so difficult because I did try to nurse and pump in the beginning, although afterwards I fully transitioned to just pumping, and so I just used the pumping bra more, so that was fine. But this time around, especially for my second, I was really doing pumping and nursing at the same time. So whenever I'm not nursing, I was pumping, and so it was really important for me to find a bra that fit the bill for both pumping and nursing, and I found it. I found a bra, and it's so comfortable, and it's so convenient because it does both pumping and nursing, as I mentioned. So it looks like a bra when you just see it like that, but then you can put there's like clasps like they normally do, and you can put it down, and there when you put it down you see like basically like a pumping bra, like with the slits where the pump can go into, and that's basically what you use for pumping. And then that layer of what you use for pumping, you can still put it down again, and then you can just use it for nursing. That's just amazing, because I didn't want to just change bras every time that I needed to switch from pumping to nursing. Sometimes I did pumping in the morning, and then later in a few hours I would nurse, so it was just not convenient that I would have to change bras every time. Like, I don't have time or energy for that, you know. This bra also has pads in the front, so like the very first layer that I mentioned earlier was padded, and so it was great because, you know, you don't want the nips showing, you don't want people to see that. But they also have some styles that didn't have the extra layer of padding, so if you don't need that, like if you don't have that problem, or if you don't really care for that, then you don't have to buy that specific model. I love that model because it was perfect for that, because I was looking for specifically something with a pad but wasn't like inconvenient or making it more annoying for me to use. Make sure that you're also buying a few of these bras, because it's really important that you have a spare, that you have, like, you know, extras when one or two of them are in the laundry, or suddenly your baby spits up, or you get like so much let down that the bra is just covered, you know. You just need to make sure that you have extras for it. I just have been using it. I literally still use it. I think I'm still even wearing one right now, because I'm still actually nursing more than a year in, and I still use them. I still love them. They're super comfortable. There's no wiring or anything, so it's very comfortable, and yeah, it just feels secure, and it does everything that you need a pumping and nursing bra to do. Next up is nursing tanks or tops. And so this is something that I actually didn't know or didn't really think about or use with my first, and something that I only used with my second. And in the beginning I wasn't even sure, like, did I even really need a nursing tank, because I already had a nursing bra, so I didn't really see what was the point of having a tank. And then I realized that when you lift up your shirt, and then if you have just the bra, then your belly is just exposed, and obviously, like, it's up to you if you mind or not. But if you're nursing in public or where somebody can see you, and if you don't mind your belly just hanging out and that everyone can see, then it's fine. Obviously, you do you. But for me personally, I just preferred to have that area covered as well. So I found it helpful to have a nursing tank so that when I put it down, it also has the latch thingies like nursing bras have. So when you put it down, then you have access to the bra underneath, and so there's like the tank just covers like your belly area, and that's just nice for when it's cold, then your belly's not exposed, or if you don't want to other people to see your belly area while you're nursing outside, then that's also very helpful for that. So what I'm going to recommend is a really good breast pump. So this is something very, very important if you're planning to pump, but also if you're planning to nurse, because in the beginning it's really good to establish a good milk supply, and I was really recommended from the beginning to start pumping because my milk supply didn't come immediately. It took me like 5 days before my supply was really like up and going, and so before that I was trying to latch my baby and also pump at the same time to really encourage that. And so it was really important to have a good pump. With my first, I had a pump that was just a classic pump. You're just basically sitting down like that, and they say that you can use it also while you're moving if you have like a pumping bra. But I've tried that and it doesn't work very well for me because the thing like moves around everywhere, and so I don't find it very reliable, and also like the thing can move and the milk can spill. That's happened to me before, so I don't use that pump when I'm moving around. I even have to hold it even if I have a pumping bra, because it's not, the pumping bra like falls sometimes, so I constantly need to adjust it, so it's easier to just like try to hold it a little bit for support. So I have that one, and that works really well because I have that one from my first and I still use it for my second, so it's a really good investment. I have the one from Philips, so I use it for 2 kids now and it still works really well. And so for my second, I actually invested in a mobile pump, and this is something that I've been seeing around and I've been wanting to get because I saw how convenient it was, because especially when you already have another kid who also needs you, it's difficult to just find time to just sit down and pump, you know? So it was convenient to be able to just put it in the bra and then it just stays put and it doesn't move around, so it's just so convenient when you're doing other things like cooking or cleaning or playing with your kid or something like that. So you can still be pumping while still being active to a certain extent, obviously. And yeah, so I have those 2 options, and it's also really good for being able to switch between the 2 when I need it. So sometimes I would say, oh, I need to pump right now, and I actually forgot to wash the other pump. But it was always convenient that I had another option, the other pump that was available. And so yeah, finding 2 pumps that do 2 different things have been very helpful for me and very convenient for my lifestyle. And because I'm a mom of 2, it's easier to be able to combine it with other things. The only thing with my mobile pump is that it was less powerful than my other pump, so that's why whenever I use it, I only really use it for when I know that I cannot sit down. But otherwise I try to use the other one because that actually yields more milk. So just kind of take that into consideration, because maybe it's just the brand that I got, but see, depending on the pump that you get, maybe there are mobile pumps that also yield more. So that's something that kind of takes some trial and error. When I got my mobile pump, I was also able to test it for 30 days. So they had 2 different mobile pumps that I was choosing from at first from the same brand. And I was able to return the other one because the other one didn't really fit me very well. It was very inconvenient and clunky for me. And so I kept this other one because that one was much more comfortable for me. So that was really nice if you can find a way to do that, to be able to try out the pump, the product, and then just return it if it doesn't work for you for like a few weeks or so. That would be really good because then you can try it firsthand. Speaking of backups, it's also really good to have backup pump parts. So the parts that I have, they all pretty much all have backups, so if I need to use them immediately after, then I can, because I have the machine, for instance. But the pump parts are all, you can have doubles of it, so it's very convenient to have an extra one of that in case something needs to be washed still. Then you're not waiting for it to be able to wash it first before you can pump. And sometimes time is of the essence, right, with moms, especially with your littles running around. And yeah, it's just more convenient to have extras in case something also breaks or suddenly you can't use it for some reason. It's nice to have an extra just there in case. Next is milk storage bags or containers for storing milk in the fridge or in the freezer. I have these storage bags for freezing my milk, and you can put a label on it and you can write the date and how much milk is in there. I flatten those and then I put them in the freezer so that they can store easily and we can maximize the space in our freezer. If you don't do that, it's just much more difficult to store them away nicely and you won't be able to maximize the space. Just make sure that you look up the guidelines for safe milk storage, because not all freezers are able to store milk for around the same time. We have a deep freezer, and those ones are really good for storing milk because they can last for 6 months or even more, I think. So just make sure that you're looking at the guidelines to make sure that you have the right type of freezer and to see how cold it is in your freezer actually, so that you know how long you can keep your milk in there. For the fridge, there's also guidelines on how long that's supposed to be there. I think it's supposed to be like 4 days maximum. And then for fresh milk that has just been pumped, you can leave it outside in room temperature for I think 4 hours maximum. So just look that all up and make sure that you're following those guidelines so that your baby is safe. Your bag with ice packs are so important as well. So these are very important when you're on the go, when you need to go to work and you're pumping milk. So when I was at work and I was pumping milk, I would pump in the room and then I would store them in the fridge at work. But then going home, I needed to bring it back, so obviously I had like a bag and also some cooling elements to make sure that it stays cold. And so make sure that you have those things at the ready as well if you're planning to pump milk. Nursing pillow is also very important. I actually had one different one when I had my first one and then a different one when I had my second one. And my first one, I used like a nursing pillow that was actually also a pregnancy pillow, so it was kind of a 2-in-1. But I didn't find it that great as a nursing pillow. I loved it as a pregnancy pillow though. I actually still use it until now. In our bed, it's still right there because it's just so comfortable and I can't like do without anymore. My husband loves that, by the way. I bought another brand for my second one, and it was actually a second-hand one because it was quite pricey. I think it was my Breastfed one, and that was really good because it's really firm and it really helps to have better position when you're nursing, because we tend to go like this when we're nursing and that's really not so good for our shoulders and also for our backs. And there was a time when I actually got lazy and I wasn't using a nursing pillow and I actually felt it in my back and also on my shoulders. So it's actually very important to use that, and I don't use it as much now anymore, but when I can, I do. And it's actually still in our sofa right now because I still nurse, so it's just right there when I need it, and I literally still use it even my baby's already over a year old. Burp cloths are also very important because when you're nursing, when you're pumping, whatever, as long as your baby is feeding milk, it's important to have nursing cloths, especially when they're very little. The first few months is the most notorious for spit ups. And my second baby, she was a spitter, because my first one I didn't have that much problem with her. I think she had like a normal amount, but my second one, for some reason, she was like spitting up quite a lot, and I think she also had some what do you call that, like reflux, and so she had that trouble when she was a few months old. It passed after some time, but it felt like forever when I was at the moment. and she was really like spitting up, like it looked like she was spitting up like the whole session, the whole nursing session. She was like spitting up, it looked like. So it was really important to have enough burp cloths. Okay, so let's talk about nipple creams. This is very important to make sure that your nipples are feeling comfortable, because if they're not comfortable, you're not going to be able to nurse well or pump well. And for both, you need to make sure that you're taking care of that area, because even if you're pumping, it's still possible to get wounds from it. I've had it from my first. I thankfully didn't have too much trouble with my second one, maybe because I was already used to it by then, but with my first I had a lot of trouble with that, and I had a lot of chafing and things like that, and that was really painful and was difficult to pump then. But yeah, just make sure that you're, you know, taking care of that area. Another thing that I used this time around that was different from my first was silverettes, and these I love these things. These are like little silver round things that you just put on your nipple, and then you just leave it there for a while. And I literally just left it there after the nursing session, and then it was still there for the next nursing session, and then I just like removed it when she was nursing, and I just kept it on and kept it on, and it was really helpful for this time. And I think that's what helped me to avoid the pain this time around, and I barely had any problems with pain this second time around with that. Even if I was actually nursing more often, I was nursing more than pumping this time around. Another thing for that are warm compresses or heating pads. These are very important as well to make sure that the circulation flows, that the milk is flowing very nicely, and you're not getting any clogging, because that's very painful, and I've experienced that before a few times. But having the warmth is so soothing and so nice to feel, and it really does help to get things going, get things moving, and unclogs the ducts as well. Breast pads, these are very important, especially in the first few months when you're leaking a lot. And I know that not everybody leaks, okay, but a lot of women I think leak, and it's important to have your breast pads available then. I've been using the reusable breast pads because it's just a waste for me to see me throwing like those disposable ones. And I've had those disposable ones, but like it's a single use, so it's just so not great for the planet to be able to use those things. And I had these reusable ones that I even had since my first, and I still use them with my second, and they've been so helpful for me, because then I just throw them in the wash. You literally just throw them in the wash with towels, and then they dry, and then you can use them again. And they come like in a pack of a few of them, and they're all in this little cute bag, and I just store them there, and it's just so easy. Speaking of letdown, I have also used the Haka, the silicone pump, and also the Ladybug milk collector. And so I actually prefer, I think, the Ladybug one, and this is very controversial because a lot of people prefer the original Haka. So I don't know, like it really depends on you which one you prefer. I personally prefer the Ladybug one because that one is just like a closed thing, because the other one is good because it is able to suck a lot of milk out, but then if it accidentally like falls and slips, then you're doomed, you know, like all your milk is gone. But the Ladybug one, it's more snug because you can just put it in your bra and it just stays there, it just stays put, and it still is able to collect all the milk while you're nursing on the other side. So I find that very helpful, and I actually have like 3 different ones because I told you that I was nursing much more and I was pumping, and so I was using this very intensely for the first few months. And at first I only had one, but then I constantly had to wash it every single time because I was nursing like every 3 hours, and so I wasn't able to keep up with my Ladybug because I had to wash it every time. And so my husband's actually the one who suggested that we buy 2 extra ones just so I could like alternate between them, and that was actually really good. So yeah, just try which one works for you which one you prefer more, like the original Haka or the ladybug one. Either, I've tried both of them and they're both good, but it just really depends on your preference. Another thing that was actually a game changer for us, because when we were pumping with our first, this is something that was really, really good, is a portable bottle warmer. So when we were going out and about in the beginning, we didn't know that there was such a thing, and so we didn't buy it. And so we had a bit of stress and issue with trying to warm up her thing, and then we would ask like in a restaurant for like hot water and then just like put her bottle in there. But then we discovered that there was such a thing as a bottle warmer for babies. That was such a game changer because it was such a small thing, like literally like this big, and then you can just put the bottle in there and it just heats it up at the perfect temperature for you. So if you're exclusively pumping, or if you're also pumping and you're feeding your baby outside, then it's really great for that. With my second one, as I mentioned, I was nursing more, so I didn't get to use this gadget that much, but it was really, really helpful for my first when we were pumping much more. Comfortable robe or nursing friendly pajamas or clothes are also something that you need to consider, because yeah, you can't just wear whatever you want now that you're nursing or pumping. You always need to take into consideration what you're wearing, especially if you want just easy access and you don't want to like fuff around with that. It's just annoying. And I've been gravitating towards things with buttons, like that you can just open easily, because then you have like easy access. You can also do things with like necklines that are stretchable, so you can just pull it down. I also like oversized things, so I can just like lift my shirt up and then nurse baby underneath, and I have like an instant cover, so that's also very helpful. You do need to kind of plan your outfits in advance for this, at least for this season that you're breastfeeding slash pumping, so it's a little bit tedious to be honest, but you know, anything for our babies. And it's not like the most difficult thing, but it's just something else to consider. Hydration bottle is something that a lot of moms recommend, but it's something that I would say is optional, because I just was, especially in the very beginning, I was just at home, and so I can just normally get like a glass of water, and I actually prepared a bottle, but I didn't really use it that much. And so I think that's kind of a personal thing. If you're somebody who likes having those bottles and going around a lot, then it might be helpful for you. Or if you're also, I would say like if you're upstairs and you don't want to go downstairs like in the middle of the night or something, that's very helpful actually to have a bottle. But during the day when you're also downstairs easily, then you don't really need one. So I would say this is kind of like an optional thing. It's not something that you should per se have. It's just like maybe nice to have. If you're going to be pumping, it's really convenient to be able to have a pump bag, so you have all of your pump gear in one place, because there can be quite a lot of gear. And so especially if you're going to be traveling a lot, it's nice to just have one that you can just grab and go. So I have a pump bag that actually came with the pump that I bought for my first, the Philips one, and it's just a nice size for all the pump stuff that I need. I can even include some bottles in there when I need to, so that was very convenient. And all the pump parts and extra things in there as well. So another optional thing is a nursing cover. I personally don't use nursing cover. I don't really feel like I need to. And so I just use my clothes that I'm wearing basically to cover up. And like my baby basically covers up most of it anyway with her head. So I don't really feel need to put a nursing cover on specifically. But if you do, then you can easily buy nursing covers. You can also use like those burp cloths that I mentioned. Like if you get like a big one, you can also use that as a nursing cover. I've seen people who do that, like put it like under their bra or something, and then just use it like that as a nursing cover. So you don't have to specifically buy a cover per se. You can first try with a burp cloth or some kind of lightweight cloth, and just try like that first and then see if that works. And so you don't have to specifically go out and buy a nursing cover. Another optional thing that's just nice to have but not really like a necessity, I would say, is a portable nightlight. So this is something that I've seen a lot of moms were recommending when I was looking for what do I actually need for this, and they were mentioning like a portable nightlight, and so I got myself one, but I never really used it. I think I used it like a handful of times and then I didn't really use it anymore. And if you're like going from upstairs to downstairs or from different rooms at night, then it might be really helpful for you. So this is something I would say that's a kind of nice to have, and kind of depending on your house and your preferences, I would say. But I can't imagine how that would be helpful for somebody. That's it for this video. I hope that this was helpful. I really just wanted to do a roundup of the essentials that I really found was very helpful for me when I was, still am, nursing slash pumping, and what are the things that I actually need and actually use, because there's just so much out there that it can be very overwhelming, and I know that firsthand. And so I wanted to make this for you if you're also thinking about nursing or pumping or whichever in between. And I wanted to make it as practical and realistic as much as possible for you, so I hope that this was helpful. Remember, breastfeeding doesn't have to be complicated. Just do what works best for you and your baby. If this was helpful, please give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Follow me on Instagram at beanshome.yt for more mom tips and realistic mom life. I wish you a great rest of the week, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!